Hi, this is Anshu Sama. In this video, I'm going to discuss and share with you the strategy for next 30 days if you are going to appear in December NET UGC cycle in the subject of Political Science Code 02. Basically, there are two parts of this examination. The first part is the paper 1 and second part is the paper 2. Paper 1 is examining your research and teaching aptitude, while paper 2 examines your knowledge of the political science as per the syllabus given by the NET UGC examination agency UGC and conducted by NTA. So you need to understand the syllabus for both the papers. In this video, I'm not going to cover the syllabus and strategy for the first paper. Hopefully, I will be making a different and separate video for paper 1, and for the paper 2, this video will be sufficing for your preparation, I guess so. Let's begin. This is the syllabus on my hand right now, printed one, official download from NET UGC. You will see there are 10 units in this syllabus of political science. You will see the first unit known as political theory, and then you have this political thought, you have Indian political thought, then you will have this comparative political analysis, then you will have international relations, the IR, you have Indian foreign policy. Next up, we have unit number 7, political institutions in India, a very important unit. Most questions are asked from this unit only. Then you have unit number 8, political processes in India. You have unit 9, public administration, the last unit, which is the governance and public policy in India. So what you need to understand in this syllabus is that first you go through the previous year questions. Why the previous year questions are important? As I've already said, that an examiner, while he is having the syllabus before his or her eyes, they have 10 different formats and patterns to set the paper. They can put factual questions all together. They can put only conceptual questions all together. They can put a mix of it in different proportions. And they cannot ask any kind of questions, and they will be all within the syllabus. So to stay with the direction and to avoid any kind of directionlessness, you should be able to first analyze the previous year question. They will be giving you a direction. They will tell you that, see, this is the way you have to go, and that is the other way which you do not have to go, which will give you less returns as compared to your investment in the preparation. So first you need to be very thorough with your preparation. You should have done the facts, you should have done the concept, you should have done with the authors and books and all, understood the concepts crystal clear, and also have memorized the facts. I know that it is a bit hard and difficult for you to memorize the facts, but ultimately you have to, the best thing you can do is to have some tricks, mnemonics and other things so as to memorize them better, and then keep revising. Revising just reduces your active efforts to memorize something which you find difficult, so you will be having the pages in front of your eyes again and again during revision, and our mind will keep on feeding those information, those pages, even the page numbers in our mind, that will be helpful and in retrieving the information while you sit for the examination on the examination day. Okay, so let's move on. Let's come to the important topics for this examination. This video is going to be a bit long, so stay with me. And this is a one-shot video which is going to be very much helpful if you watch it till the end, because the important topics which I'm going to discuss, many questions are going to appear from these topics only. I guess 50 to 60 questions will be appearing from these topics which I have listed here in 40 heads, 40 topics. Now, the first topic here is the president, vice president, and the prime minister. What you need to do is to go through election process, go through the articles in the constitution which talk about them, and then also prepare the chronology of all the prime ministers, vice presidents, president that have been elected in India from the time of independence so far, and read a bit about them also, their qualities, the office, what major works were done in the time, and etc. Because NTA has this habit of asking questions apart from chronology nowadays. They are asking more deeper questions. Okay, so please read about that. Prepare some fact sheet about president, vice president, prime minister. Next up, we have international relations organization. For example, SAARC, ASEAN, WTO, UN, BRICS, SCO, and EU. You will definitely see few questions. I think around 5 to 6 questions will be coming from these organizations directly or indirectly. Mostly they will be direct questions. For example, when was SAARC established? When was EU established? What is the treaty which led to the establishment of EU? And then you will have questions upon the establishment of the ASEAN. or India's relations with all these organizations. Then you have SEO, which has been in the news because of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji went to China for attending this in the backdrop of the US tariffs. So this was much in news, and it's one of those fertile topics from which the NTA can make the question. So please read about that. And the United Nations remains in the news all the time. So please read about that, all the six organs of the United Nations. Coming on to the next one, which is the agreements related to environment, such as Paris Agreement, Montreal Protocol, Kyoto Protocol, United Nations Environment Program, a body which is responsible for the implementation of the laws related to the environment and treaties thereof, and the others. So please read about all the laws, conventions, treaties, and bodies related to environment. It remains in the news a lot. Please read about all the protocols that have been signed subsequently after the establishment of UNEP. It becomes an important part because environment is an area where all the examinations are focusing more, because climate change and all these are becoming more imperative issues to discuss across the world. Next, we have India's relations with the USA, USSR, and Russia, and then in China. These are the countries explicitly mentioned in your syllabus, and lot of different questions are asked from it. A lot of varied questions are asked. For example, NTA can ask that who are the prime ministers of India who visited China, and in which year. NT can also ask who are the Prime Minister of India who visited USSR or USA, what are the treaties between India, China, India, USSR, India, Russia, and India, United States of America, when did the diplomatic relations start and all. So please read everything about it, read some facts about these relations of India with these countries, so that you will definitely find questions from that also. Then you have preamble, fundamental rights, and DPSP. What you need to do is just make a fact sheet, make the fact sheet writing articles of fundamental rights, DPSP, directive principles of the state policy, and just read them, memorize them. For example, Article 14 talks about right to equality, Article 15 talks about reservation in everything except the employment, which is dealt with Article 16. Right. Similarly, you have to talk about Article 17, Article 18, Article 19, 20, 21, which is in the news because of the pollution, right to life. Then you have Article 22, 23, 24. These all are important article, Article 32 and 5 writs under that. Please read about writs also. And then you have DPSP starting after fundamental rights. So please read about that. For example, Article 40 talks about the Gandhian style of Panchayati Raj institution, units of self-governance. Right, Article 44, which everybody knows is the Uniform Civil Code implementation. So please read about all those DPSPs, and they can ask the match the following or set the chronology right, or the order of appearance of these articles in the constitution. Please just match that, and this is a low-hanging fruit that you can just pick, and you will get too many marks. Now, next up we have is the, also please read about preamble. They can ask fill in the blanks, which word comes after which word in preamble. So read about that also. Then you have parliament, functions, speakers, sessions, committees, and houses. How many houses we have? Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha we have. Who all the speakers have been so far. Please read or make the list of all the speakers of Lok Sabha, all the vice president who are also ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Please read and memorize all the chronology. NTA will definitely ask one question from these topics. Next up we have CJI, CAG, AGI, which is the Attorney General of India, UPSC chairpersons, and Finance Commission, which is the news because the Government of India has constituted the 16th Finance Commission, which is working. Its tenure is currently underway. So please read about Finance Commission, its chairpersons also. Then please read about the speakers, which we have already talked about. LOP, NCST, National Commission for Scheduled Tribe, National Commission for Scheduled Caste, National Commission for Human Rights, National Commission for Women, and National Commission for the Minorities. Please read about their chairperson. I think there are only 6 to 7 chairperson, all these bodies that have been appointed so far, because these bodies are not very old. So please read, especially the first chairperson, the current chairperson. And NTA can ask the match the following question, and you will be able to get good answers. Now, next up, we have establishment years of the High Courts and Supreme Court. So a special focus should be on memorizing or reading and learning more and more about the establishment years of the High Courts. For example, High Court, Allahabad High Court, Bombay High Courts, prominent High Courts. Please read about that. These are the questions which again and again appear in NT examination, and you cannot afford to ignore them. Fine. Next up, we have governors and CM of the state. Please read about the chief ministers of all the states, especially the states which have gone to the election. For example, there was a question on Karpuri Thakurji, who was the chief minister of Bihar. Please read about these. And also governors who have been appointed in all the states. There has been no question, I think, about the governors, but definitely it's a fertile area from which the NT can make a question. So please read about that. Then you have the books and commentaries on the Indian Constitution and Indian federals. There have been many people who have commented on the Indian Constitution, whether India is a federal country, quasi-federal, or unitary. For example, Granville has commented a lot. So there are different people, 5 to 6, or I think 7 people, who are important enough to just study, and one question might appear in the examination, definitely. All right. So next up we have is the constitutional amendments since 1950. So there is a question from the people that how many constitutional amendments should we memorize or read or make the fact sheet of. So not all the constitutional amendments are important. The constitutional amendments which were the turning points of which remain in the news time and again, you should read about that. For example, the first Constitutional Amendment Act, which talks about the land, which came in the backdrop of land reforms. The seventh Constitutional Amendment Act, which came in the backdrop of State Reorganization Commission. Then also 24th and 25th Amendment Act, after which we had this Keshavananda Bharati case. And then you should also read last 15 amendment acts in the constitution, and also the how the amendments are done. But more important are the amendments factually. Also read some case laws also. Chronology can be asked, for example, Golaknath case, Keshavananda Bharati case, Minerva Mills case, Shampakam Dorai Dungeon case, Sankari Prasad case. You have Ayer Kyolo case, Janeth Avian case, Kyoto Holohan case. So these are few very landmark cases from which the questions can be framed. So just make a fact sheet for this also. Next up, we have the local governance and the 73rd and 74th amendments. You know, the 73rd and 74th amendments were instituted so as to localize the governance. Self-governance units were made, and this relates to the DPSP Article 40, which talks about, which is Gandhian DPSP, which talks about units of self-governments should be established by the government of India and the state governments respectively in their jurisdiction. So please read about self-governance, local units. Next up we have is this establishment years of the national parties, prominent state parties, criteria for recognition and the leaders. Everything is important in this. We have, I think, 6 national parties. And what are the criteria to get the tag of the national party? Please read about that also. So all the national party names, their founders, their current leaders, their election symbols, and what is the criteria to get the recognition as a national party. Similarly for the state parties, read about all the prominent regional state parties, and there can be the match the following question for the same, or the chronology of their establishment, foundation. Fine, this can also be asked, and it's an important part for the political science. Parties represent the people. All right. Next up we have is the All Planning Commission, and there we have all planning commissions, Niti Aayog, and the major economic reforms. So what you need to know is that all planning commissions which have been established since the independence till 2015, because the planning commission was a body which was responsible to come up with the 5-year plans. For example, it came with a lot of models in the starting. Please read about that. Please read about the substantive content for which these planning commissions came with, industrial policies, agriculture policies, and after that Niti Aayog came. Read about chairperson, CEO, governing council of Niti Aayog, a bit about that, not much in the deep, but please read about that. LPG reforms which came in 90s. And next up we have the ICC, ICJ, UN organs and bodies, humanitarian interventions. So please read about UN, ICC, which is the International Criminal Court. What is the difference between International Criminal Court and International Court of Justice? Then also read about humanitarian interventions, which are called as operations. For example, there is any operation which India is launching. Currently, India has launched an operation for Sri Lanka because there was this cyclone which has come up. So India does this. Similarly, UN does it. US does it. A lot of countries combined do this. So please read about some operations also. Not much important, but definitely a ground to make a question from the perspective of the examiner. Next up, we have the authors and books for the International Relations Unit. There would be, I think, 200 kind of 150 or 200 or in all, the authors and books that you might be required to memorize. Make some tricks, mnemonics, etc. Try to learn, relate to the word or anything, but you have to ultimately get into your mind so that you are able to know that who wrote which book in the international relations, realism, new realism, liberalism, new liberalism, Robert Cohen, Hans Morgenthau, Kenneth Walls. These are very important people, and please read about the books, what they have written. Next up, we have feminism. Feminism is a theme which is very important for our examination because it's one of those areas where the political science as an enterprise has contributed a lot to raise the awareness in the people. And Simon DeWard, Kate Millett, these are the people from where the questions are framed again and again. Kate Millett is one of those areas or author from where the questions have been asked time and again. So please read about feminism, the variant of feminism. In fact, the last time also the variant of feminism was asked. Please read about also elite and power theories. A bit about that. Questions can be asked from that. Pareto, for example, is an author, scholar related to that. Next up, we have electoral system, political parties, and party system. So what does this mean? Electoral systems or party system, these mean that one party system, two party system, multi-party system, hybrid system. What kind of system we have? Quite all parties, Otto Parchheimer's concept is this. Then we have this Duverger's and Sartori's classification of the parties and party systems, electoral systems in which we have FPTP as a system, STB, single transferable vote system, semi-presidential system, and which countries have it. Please read about those countries who have gone to election in recently, and especially about India's neighbors, because there has been a lot of crisis around India's neighbors. So please read about that and their electoral process. Next up, we have underdevelopment, dependency, modernization, and world systems theory. Read about them, especially the authors in the books on these concepts. Next, we have major geopolitical events and revolutions in the last 200 years. Sometimes the questions are asked and we think that it is out of syllabus, but it is not out of syllabus. They have mentioned they will be asking revolution, but definitely they go beyond 200 years. For example, they will ask the Magna Carta, Glorious Revolution, which predate 200 years at least. So please read about that. Make a just fact sheet of all these world war, main wars that were fought in last centuries. And if any question comes, you will be able to crack it. Next up, we have studied in depth all India's neighbors. Obviously, it should not require a lot of explanation why India's neighbors are important. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Maldives, Pakistan, Nepal, Myanmar, and maritime neighbors. So please read about all the neighbors of India, their presidents, their prime minister, their electoral parties are there, which electoral system are there, which party system is there. Read everything about that and India's relations and treaties. So there will be questions definitely from India's neighbors without any shadow of doubt. Next up, we have the non-alignment movement. Questions are asked, when was it founded, which was the conference into which it was founded, who were the founders involved. For example, India's first prime minister was also involved in its foundation. So please read about non-alignment movement, nuclear tests. So which country did their nuclear tests when, especially about India and Pakistan and China also. Look East and Act East policy, how India went from Look East to Act East. Then Gujarat Doctrine, what's the Gujarat Doctrine? Then you have Panchashil also, when was it instituted as a doctrine between India and China, and who were the people who signed in this Panchashil Doctrine. Read about International Monetary Fund also, about its chairperson, whosoever is, whatever designation it is called for. Read about IMF, its different workings and all, and when did India join, when did it come, Bretton Woods institutions, then the WTO, which came in 1995, which replaced the GATS and all. So please read about that. Also, ecological approach, read about that in the public administration, and all the books about public administration, who were the foundations, so which started from the 19th century and how it evolved in different stages. So read about public administration. Then you have scientific management theory, bureaucratic theory, and human relations theory. Very, very important. I think 2 questions will be asked from these theories or the authors, maybe whatever area, but definitely from these topics. Next up, we will have leadership and motivation theories, which is also the part of the last unit. So read about that. Chester Bernard's communication principles. Next up, we have Mary Parker Fowler's conflict management. Not much important, but you should read about that. A question can be framed from that also. Then management by objective Peter Drucker, because it is explicitly mentioned in the syllabus, so it's a question which will be low hanging fruit. If comes, you should be able to crack it very easily. Then you have commissions set up for on the local governance. So you have Mehta Commission, you have LM Singhvi Commission and all. So please read about these all commissions in chronology, when were they set up, and there might be question on chronology basis or who chaired which commission. Fine, so read about that. Next up we have RTI, Consumer Protection Act, Lokpal and Lokai. Difference between them, their chairpersons, when did they come, their establishment years and all. Please read about that. Next up we have Manrega and major schemes launched after 2014, which this is an area from where three questions are asked, I think. The schemes especially which were launched in last 10-11 years. So please read about that. For example, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, and Ujjwala Yojana and all such other schemes. Please read about that. Rashtriya Gokul Mission and schemes which are not well known, but they were definitely launched after 2014. Please read about those schemes with their years, and there will be chronology questions, I'm sure about it. Next up, we have book of important Western and Indian thinkers as per the syllabus. So I have not much to explain here. You have to read and memorize the book names. Next up, we have Bhimrao Ambedkar, Gandhi ji, and you have V.D. Savarkar, Vivekananda, M.N. Roy, Ramabai, E.V. Periyar. These are the very important people from Indian political thought, from where the questions are framed either conceptually or factually. So their books, their any kind of particular concept they have given. For example, Chaukhamba Raj, or what Periyar did, what was his works and all. Please read about it. Make fact sheet also. Then from Western thinkers, Marx, Aristotle, Plato, J.S. Mill, Mary Wollstonecraft, one question from her, Kate Millett, Herbert Marcuse, Simon de Beauvoir, Gramsci, Hannah Arendt, very important person, and Thomas Hobbes. These are the thinkers from where the conceptual questions can be framed. Also, the books and authors kind of questions can be framed and will be framed definitely. One or two, or might be three, four questions will be there from this unit itself. Next up, we have books on identities and caste. Not much important, but definitely are important. Next up, we have state formation years, chronology, their numbers in Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, assembly seats, also scheduled caste and scheduled tribe seats. Very, very, very important topic. First, do which state was formed in which year. First. Second, the chronology. Third, their seats in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. How many seats go from Uttar Pradesh? There are 80. There are 31 seats from Uttar Pradesh. Similarly, from Bihar, West Bengal, in both the houses. Read about it. And also, how many seats are reserved for the SC and STs in Lok Sabha? Please read about that also. Questions have been asked and will be asked from this particular topics which I'm talking about currently. How many seats belong to which states in our parliament? Then current and the first chairpersons of various constitutional bodies, the bodies mentioned in the syllabus. Please read about them also. Next up, we have study everything about current affairs from the USA, China, Israel, Italy, and Pakistan. Fine, because these are the nations, either the previous year questions direct us to ask the, read all about these countries, or these have been in the news. So please read about that, especially China, US, Russia. These countries have been mentioned directly in your syllabus, and especially about India's neighbors also. And the last one is terror attacks, revolutions, wars, and political parties, which I've talked about, that which terror attack took place when, especially when Delhi attack has happened. So in the last exam itself, we saw that question was asked about Bali terror attack and all. So please read about that. These topics become very important if you go through these topics, dedicatedly prepare the fact sheets, dedicatedly prepare the concepts, revise them 5 times, and appear in the examination. I'm sure that there will be around 50 to 60 questions asked from these topics which I've discussed in this video. And if you are able to do that with dedication religiously, you will be able to crack for your JRF. I think this was it from my side for the paper 1. What you need to do, fine. And also for the paper 1 and paper 2, what you need to do is that divide your time strategically, smartly. You can, for example, you can do this, study the paper 1 before lunch, and after lunch you can have paper 2, which is the political science. Make sure you give ample time to both, because paper 1 is an important paper. You need to score at least 35 questions correct, which can go up to 40 questions, and you should be able to score at least 85 questions correct in the paper 2, that is political science. This all information is on the basis of the previous year questions trends, which the trend which changed in 2024 and is continuing till now. So we have settled trend. It is not the pattern is changing every cycle. It is not changing. So we have enough number of previous year questions which we can practice and get the idea of. Fine. So that is the advantage to your side. So now it is up to you to prepare. Last 30 days are remaining. If you have not started yet, or if you, for example, if you have a bit of the information, or if you're just halfway, there is no point of worrying about it. There is no point of wasting time over that. You can still start from here. At least you won't be regretting later on. And also you will have to wait for next 6 months. You never know in this examination when you can crack it. And definitely the people who work hard will be able to hit the stars. And I wish the best to you. And that is it from my side. All the best. And if you have any questions and all, please drop in the comment section. I will be able to address them. And please join the channel which has been given in this description, the Telegram channel which I've made, where the people discuss about their concerns and problems. And if you require any help from my side, please let me know in that channel discussion group or in the comment section. That is from my side. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.